Don't you just love that impressionistic music? It's Ravel's Sonatine. This week we're going to look at this piece, analyze it a little bit, give you some tips on how to play it, and also for those of you who are listeners, things you can listen for in this piece. So don't forget to subscribe, and we want you to come back again. So let's get started with Ravel's Sonatine, first movement. Number 1. Listen carefully for the two voices that are in unison with each other, actually an octave apart, and the texture on the inside. And that is much lighter, has a great kind of... And then the melody. For those of you who are pianists, you have to make sure you keep those textures separate. One of the things that I do in this passage too, it's a real test with impressionistic music, is to play without pedal. So you do your best to try to keep things smooth in the melody line. And then when you put the pedal in, it sounds even better. Number 2, what I call cool chords. These are wonderful chords that Ravel uses, and the chord that in question is one that has, it's like a major chord, dominant 7, but he puts an F sharp in it, so we get this sound, and then he adds a little fairy dust on the top. You put that all together, and very important for you pianists, don't lift the pedal. Make sure we have all of those notes ringing at the same time. So what it sounds like is this. It's a great sound, the color. And one of the things that I do when I play is, when I play a chord like that, I adjust the volume. I might play this chord a little bit more and these even less. Gives that wonderful color. And don't forget, MG is a very important word for pianists to know, because that means main gauche in French, which means cross your hand over when you get to the MG. And if the composer wants you to use your right hand, it's MD, or main droite. Number 3, in this unison passage right after the first ending, you have to slither like a snake, kind of like the beginning, but it's in a lower register. We have this melody. Everything has to be connected. One of the things that I do when I connect voices like that, I give students a fingering. And so the fingering on the top voice is 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 3, 5. So you have to be really dexterous to be able to cross over the hand, and all of this is done so it's all legato. So we have, with the two voices, you get this. Now you may ask, why do I need to use 4, 5, 4, 5? Because I have chords underneath that also have to be played with 1 and 2. So you put it all together, it sounds like this. 2 slithering lines an octave apart, and chords in between. Add a little pedal, kind of like putting spice on it. And a nice crescendo too. And next we have what I call the dueling thumbs passage. What Ravel does is he has this beautiful melody with the right hand, similar to the beginning. So we have a texture underneath, but then what he does is he has the left hand reach over the right hand. And since it's a black key, remember this, students, whenever you cross over, if you have a black key, that hand has to be on the top. You can't have the black key underneath and get squashed. So this is the way I'll do it slowly. Put it together fast. Not only does it sound really cool, but it looks cool to see that left hand kind of moving over the right hand. And last of all, we're going to use some long pedals in this piece. Obviously in the Impressionistic period, we have to use the pedal, but I find a lot of times what students will do is they'll change the pedal really often thinking that that's the best way to keep things clean. But a lot of times you can put some color into pieces even when the chords clash a little bit. Just before the recapitulation, Ravel has a fortissimo melody that looks like it has lots of harmonic changes in it, but I like to do it with one pedal. So it's sort of like a blur, but it has this wonderful kind of sound, and it has all whole tones. I think whole tones sort of have that dreamy kind of quality to them, but in this case, it's going to be loud, and it's going to be long pedal for 4 measures as we go into the recapitulation. So listen to the colors that he has here. I'm going to back up a little bit. The anime, it's kind of wild. You'll notice as I played that passage, I didn't change the pedal, but I slowly lifted the pedal. This works on a grand piano, so it gives that color of almost as if the sound is slowly dissipating. It's a wonderful effect. Changing pedal doesn't work. It's only holding it through and letting it float. So I've given you 5 tips on how to play this piece, and also 5 tips on how to listen to it as well. So let's hear a full performance of Ravel's Sonatine first movement.